Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Osil, and today I'm going to give you an update on my Pan Those Eyeshadows project pan. I'm still struggling with my under eye, especially really just one side of the face. I think it's eczema. I've always had eczema on my hands and places on my body, but never really underneath my eyes. So it's probably something I'm going to struggle with forever. I'm guessing that's my experience with eczema. And I do think it comes from an allergic reaction and kind of evolved into eczema. I'm not sure. I might talk to another dermatologist to seek more clarity to that, but still haven't been able to use quite as much makeup and eyeshadows as I've wanted to, but I feel like I've done a better job this time around than last time. And I've actually been able to reach my goal on 4 out of the 5 eyeshadows that were in. Well, I actually had 6 eyeshadows in last time because I had one more use in one palette, that in an eyeshadow in one palette. So I did work on, 6 eyeshadows before that, before I was able to roll that out. And so therefore I have reached my goal on 5 eyeshadows out of those 6. So I'm really excited about that. I am going to be rolling in 4 new eyeshadows today, and I can't wait. And as you can see, I'm makeup free, so I'm gonna do I'm gonna attempt to do an eyeshadow look for you guys with the eyeshadows that I will be choosing. And we're just gonna get started with the eyeshadow that I only had one more use left out of. It is from the BeautyBay Bright Matte 9-color palette, and it was the orange shade called Heatwave. This is what that one looks like. Obviously, you can't really see much of a difference since last time because I only have one more use left out of it. But this one is now officially rolled out. And then next I was able to reach my goal of 20 uses on the BeautyAct Nude Mania eyeshadow quad, and it was the metallic rose gold shade. This is the one right here. Beautiful, beautiful shade. I can't say enough good things about this eyeshadow quad. It's one of my favorite eyeshadow palettes in my collection now. It's such an easy go-to, travel-friendly eyeshadow palette to use for an everyday. So that one is now officially rolled out. And then we have the Huda Beauty New Nude palette. This I had a 20 usage goal of the, what was it called? The Play shade, which was a matte peachy shade. Hopefully this is in focus. But yeah, it was a good, fairly easy shade to hit 20 uses on because it goes with a lot of eyeshadow looks. And I really, oh gosh, I really enjoy this palette as a whole. So I reached my goal on that, officially out of the project. And then recently I hit my 20 usage goal on the Tati Beauty Volume 1 Textured Neutrals palette. And this was also a lovely shade. It is the Metallic Ritual, which is a metallic brown shade. And I'm really glad I have this in my project pan because it really kind of pushed me to use this so much more than I would have otherwise. This was like my least used eyeshadow palette last year, so happy I got some use out of that one. And then lastly, I had two shades from the Milani Most Loved Mattes palette. So I did reach my goal of 20 uses. Yes, 20 uses on this darkest middle shade right here. It's just very dark, so you probably can't see it very well, but there it is. And then we have this shade that I am still working on. So this is like the like a matte, light matte, purpley, dusty purple shade. And these are both lovely shades. I still have 8 more uses left on that lightest shade, so this will be the only eyeshadow remaining in the project. But this is officially out of the project, and I'm so excited to choose some new eyeshadows. I was also not working on, but I rolled in these shades to kind of just focus on a little bit and combine with the shades that are in the project. So these aren't like technically in the project, but I'm just picking shades from my singles collections as well, just to make sure I get some use out of those. So I have my gold eyeshadow from Inglot is always in my everyday makeup because I'm tracking it, trying to figure out how many uses I need on this one to be able to hit pan, because I've used this a lot throughout last year, and now I've only used it, well, I'm happy about the usage, but I've used it 9 times so far this year. And then I also used this trio, green trio from Inglot as well. I don't have, I'm not tracking those singles, only the gold shade. And then this H&M shade called Award Season, also such a beautiful shade. So I was able to use those a few times, and we're gonna see if I can find some new shades to roll in with the new eyeshadows that I'm gonna be picking today. Yeah, I'm so excited that I can finally get a little bit more use out of my eyeshadows. It just always makes me happy to do my makeup in the morning. So anyways, I do also have some eyeshadow looks to show you. I think I have 4 or 5 eyeshadow looks that is somewhat interesting to show you from the past few weeks. So first off, we have that one eyeshadow look I did with the Bright Matte palette, the orange shade, to get my last usage out of this one. And I just mixed it with the shade in my Tati palette. Next, I used the cream shadow in Pillow Talk from Charlotte Tilbury as a base, and then I did a mix of the shades from Milani, the Milani palette, and the Award Season, this one, on the lid. And I also used a purple eyeliner from Linda Hallberg. Then I did a makeup look using only shades from the Tati palette. I really enjoy that one. A little bit of a mixture of the sort of pinkish, red pinkish shades that's in that palette. Same with this next one. Again, a mixture of Tati shades and the shades from the Milani palette. I was kind of into a little bit of more of a dark rosy pinkish eyeshadow look. Really enjoy that. And lastly, I did a mix with some of the shades in the Tati palette, and then I did the H&M Award Season on the lid, and I created a little bit of a liner with the green trio from Inglot. So yeah, that's that. Let's pick the shades I'm going to be working on next. Alright, so I got my Pretty Random app, and then let's randomize. Wait, There you go. 72. Just gonna write that down. 59. 70. And the last one is 39. Okay, I'll be right back. I'll figure out what shades these are, and I'll be right back. All right, some of these I'm not too excited about, I'm just gonna say. Some I'm really excited about. So, turns out I'm going to continue to work on the Tati palette. Actually, 3 shades are from the Tati palette. So I'm both happy about that because I would love to continue to work on this. At the same time, some of the shades aren't what I typically would go for. So first is the, what's it called? Ritual Glitter. This one right here. I'm going to show you a little bit better. This is the one. Now, I'm not too much into glitter. If I were to have chosen any other glitter in my collection other than the glitters that are in this palette, I would have picked another shade because I don't want to work on glitters. But these are the only glitters I actually kind of like. Like, they're the best glitters I have in my collection, even though I don't love glitters. So it's not what I would typically go for at all, but I'm kind of glad that one of these glitter shades was picked, because I always think when I use this palette, I always think, well, I should probably get some more use out of the glitters, but I never have an occasion to use glitters. But now I do. I'm not gonna have a 20 usage goal on these glitters. No way. I think I'm just gonna have to be fair with myself on 2 of these shades that are chosen. They're not shades I'm gonna go for typically naturally. Not my favorites. So with the glitters, I'm gonna have a 3 usage goal. 3 uses on this one. That is more than enough for me, especially considering the fact that I have a hard time being able to use eyeshadows these days. I think 3 times is good. And then the next shade that's gonna be quite the challenge for me is the Sequin Memory shade, which is, I mean, it's a black, matte black with some glitter in it. This is what that one looks like. Yeah, again, not a shade I typically go for, but I have barely used this shade, so I guess I'm just gonna force myself to try to use it. Probably just use it as a liner or to deepen up the look just a tiny bit, but it's definitely going to be a shade I would find challenging to use. So I'm only going to put a 3 usage goal on this one as well. I'm sorry if that is disappointing to some of you, but I'm just gonna have to be kind to myself with these 2 shades. I just know I will not be able to ever reach my goal if I do like a 20 usage goal, or even like a 10 usage goal on these. It's just not gonna happen. So, but I'm gonna push myself to use it 3 times each. And then there's also a 3rd shade that I'm gonna be working on in the Tati palette, which is called Sequin Story. This one right here. And this one I like. beautiful orangey, browny orangey shade. I typically reach for the old matte one. That's pretty much the same shade. So I don't often reach for this one. So I think it's good that I push myself into using this one a lot more. So that's good. I'm going to be working on the Tati palette for a lot longer. So that was a 20 usage goal on the orange shade. And then next is a shade from a palette that I absolutely love. One of my favorite palettes, but it often gets neglected these days because I just have a lot of palettes I love, and this is probably my oldest palette, I believe. And so it's kind of like a been there, done that kind of thing. I'm a little bit, I'm not over it because I still love it, but it's pushed back a little bit because of some of the other palettes I have. But it is the Colourpop You Had Me at Hello. I mean, it's such an old palette, but I still love it, and absolutely my kinds of shades. And the shade that I'm going to be working on, I don't believe, they don't have a shade name, but it's this matte brown shade in the corner right here. Zoom in on that. That is what that one looks like. And I think this is going to be an easy shade to reach for, and I'm so happy that this palette is in here. I'm going to be able to get some use out of this one as well. So yeah, I can't wait to make some looks using this eyeshadow palette. I'm still going to be working on this one, the light matte purpley shade. So I have 8 more uses left on that one, and then I'm going to do a 20 usage goal on the eyeshadow from the Colourpop palette. And I'm quickly just going to go and pick some single eyeshadows to work on as well. So hold on. Alright, so I did decide to keep the green trio and obviously the gold shade that I always have in there from Inglot. And then this Ground State is the shade name from Nabla, very similar to Award Season from H&M, but I just love these kinds of purpley metallics. And then I chose Wet n Wild Nutty, one of my favorite shades, or favorite singles. And then Hot Makeup Marble Eyeshadow. Doesn't have a shade name or anything, but it's just a beautiful light taupey shade. Alright, these are all of the shades swatched. Hopefully you can see that. So we have the 3 shades from the Tati palette, the orangey Sequin Story, Sequin Memory, and then the glitter shade called Ritual Glitter. Then I have the matte brown shade from the Colourpop palette, You Have Me at Hello, and then this is the lightest matte purpley shade from the Milani palette. And then I have the shades that I just wanted to combine from that I picked from my singles collection. The Hot Makeup, this is more like a rosy taupe, so beautiful, such a beautiful shade. And then the Nutty shade from Wet n Wild, Ground State from Nabla, and the Green Trio just swirled together, the one from Inglot. And oh gosh, so many beautiful colors. So let's just see if I can create an eyeshadow look with this. I'm not super creative. I often seem to go for it, like the same technique, the same kinds of shades, but I'm gonna try. Now, to avoid using micellar water or anything that might irritate the skin underneath my eyes, I just use these reusable eye patches from BeautyBay. These are great. You just wash them with mild soap each time you've used them and let them dry, and they're like sticky on one side and they stay underneath the eyes. And I usually just put a little bit of eye cream or a lot of eye cream underneath, and then I just have these on while I do my makeup. I just need a mirror, and I usually just have these on while I do my makeup. That way, if I have any fallout, it's not going to be a problem for me. So this is going to look really weird. I'm going to zoom you in and do an attempt to do this eyeshadow look using some Milani eyeshadow primer. I'm actually a little bit surprised about this black shade. I thought it was going to be, let me see. I thought it was going to be a lot more pigmented because all of the other shades in the Tati palette is really pigmented, but this was not at all. So I'm not even sure if I can use it as a good liner either. Not really sure what I'm going to use this for. Any suggestions? Write it in the comments down below. I'm starting with the matte brown shade from the Colourpop palette, just right in my crease, and a little bit on the lid as well. This is so nice and pigmented and beautiful. I always kind of forget to do like this inner part right here. I typically just skip that part of the eye, but I'm going to try to do better on that. And then I like to go a little bit higher because with my hooded eyes you can barely see the eyeshadow. Like now you cannot see much of the eyeshadow, so I just like to go a little bit over the crease. Alright, let's move on to the Tati palette. I'm going to go in with that orange shade. I don't know, I already feel like this is going to be a failure of an eyeshadow look, but... Alright, I'm just going to stop right there because it turns out the eyeshadow look turns out fine, but the focus on these clips does not. So basically, we're going to go quickly through this. I apply the eyeshadow from the Colourpop palette on my lids, and I do a bit of that hot makeup eyeshadow in my inner corners. Then I apply the glitter from the Tati palette on my lid, just very subtle. And I use that green eyeshadow underneath my eyes and the black shadow from the Tati palette. I have not used much base makeup in so long. I'm just going to use the Fresh AF Energizing Mist from Colourpop. Let me zoom you out. Because of my irritating skin these days, but I'm going to try and see if it goes well today. Make the Niacinamide Soft Focus Primer. I'm going to do a little bit of that and mix it with my Anastasia Beverly Hills Luminous Foundation in 130N. This is a little bit too light, so I do like to mix it. I just do a little bit, tiny bit. That's it for my face. And I'm using the viewfinder as mirror, so I don't know if that's gonna work out. And I absolutely love the Natasha Denona High Glam Concealer, but I'm gonna give that a rest today because I'm really trying to use up these two from Catrice, the True Skin High Coverage Concealer. One is in Warm Macadamia 005 for my face, and then Cool Cashmere 010 for underneath my eyes. And I have taken out the stopper of this one. I don't have much left, but I mean, it's still gonna last me forever. So I just have a little bit here I want to cover, but I just want to cover the tiniest, or I just want to apply the tiniest bit because this is my problem area, and really I shouldn't have even applied anything. I feel like because the area is so dry. Look at what that looks like. I don't know if you can see, but that was not a good idea from my side. So let's just try to ignore that and pretend that it's not there. I'm going to use the Matte Beauty Blush Wand from Charlotte Tilbury in Pillow Talk. Probably too cool of a blush. I didn't realize that, but we'll make it work. Gosh, it's so beautiful. It looks like a lot in the viewfinder, but in real life it is not as opaque, and yeah, but I like this. Oh, I should have put the bronzer on first. I'm just gonna do it now. I usually put on the bronzer before blush, but this is, by the way, from Chanel. It is the Healthy Glow Bronzing Cream in Soleil Tan Bronze. It Cosmetics Brow Power, like the best brow pencil ever. It's just not cruelty free, so it lasts forever and it's so good. So easy to use. I think it's universal taupe. Yeah. I think I'm gonna leave it at that. Not put anything more on my brows. My skin is so dry, I'm not gonna put any powder on top. The e.l.f. Lash It Loud mascara, the one in brown. Really love this. Number 7 blush in Damson Mist. Just on top of that Pillow Talk blush. It looks like so much color on the cheeks, but it really isn't in real life. I promise. Then a little bit of Mekka highlighter in Moonstone. Just do a little bit of that. And I'm gonna try something new that I got on my lips. I got the Ole Henriksen Pout Preserve Peptide Lip Treatment in the shade Strawberry Sorbet. This is so nice. I thought it was going to be a little bit more opaque on the lips, but it's very cheer. This is what it looks like. Just a regular kind of tube lip gloss. Let's see. This is the shade. And it smells so nice, like strawberries. And I'm not sure how that's gonna work with the eyeshadow, but let's try. Works out just fine because it's so sheer. Okay. So here is the finished look. Yeah, I do like it. It's a lot for me these days because I normally go very minimal with my eyeshadows or with my makeup in general. It's been a long time since I've done like a full face of makeup, but I like it. I think it's nice and warm and maybe more like summery than spring-like, but yeah, I hope you guys like it too, and I hope you guys enjoyed my video, my update, and everything. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!